Teenagers often think nothing can hurt them, that they're unstoppable. But what happens when life hits them with something they can't escape? In this video, we'll uncover the chilling stories of 5 teens whose lives turned into nightmares when they got life sentences. Watch as their worlds fall apart and their dreams turn to dust. Number 1. T.J. Lane. In Ohio, on February 27, 2012, an 18-year-old named T.J. Lane went from being a regular teenager to one of the most feared murderers in American history. According to police records, it was an ordinary day when Lane walked into his school. He made his way to the cafeteria, and that's where the normal day turned into a nightmare. Lane opened fire, killing 3 students and wounding 3 others. The peaceful school suddenly became a scene of terror and chaos. But the horror didn't stop there. When Lane faced the court, his behavior was chilling. He walked in casually, wearing a blue button-down shirt, showing no remorse. It was as if he didn't care about the gravity of his actions. As the trial began, his true nature surfaced. Lane smirked at the prosecutors and even gave the grieving families the middle finger, adding to their pain and shock.
No, masturbates to the memory. Fuck all of you.
Judge David Fury was horrified by Lane's actions and his lack of remorse. He called Lane's act heinous, unprovoked, and senseless, saying it lacked any humanity. Lane's cold and indifferent attitude was a stark contrast to the suffering he caused. The judge sentenced Lane to 3 life terms in prison, with no chance of parole. Number 2. Brendan Deepa. A teenager from Florida found himself in deep trouble after a video of him attacking a school aide came to light. The shocking footage showed how a simple act, like taking away Brendan's Nintendo Switch, turned into a violent nightmare. Brendan Deepa, just 18 years old, snapped and lunged at the aide, Natick, with a fury that was terrifying to watch. Kicks and punches flew, and Natick eventually lost consciousness under Brendan's relentless attack. Brendan's life would never be the same. Diagnosed with autism, he had an emotional capacity as fragile as a 6-year-old. On August 6, his adoptive mother pleaded tearfully for leniency, but the court was unmoved. Brendan was sentenced to 5 years in jail, followed by 15 years of probation. Like a mother bear protecting her cub, Brendan's mother, Leanne Deepa, fought fiercely against the verdict. She believed the punishment was not just about Brendan's actions. She voiced her concerns loudly, stating, "They are punishing him because he's black, because he's physically imposing, and because he has a disability." The voice of justice in court that day, Judge Perkins, affirmed that Brendan has the right to appeal his sentence. Number 3. Willard Miller and Jeremy Goodale. On the surface, Willard Miller and Jeremy Goodale seemed like typical 16-year-old boys, but a dark turn of events led them to be charged with the murder of their high school Spanish teacher, all because of a bad grade. Fairfield High School, in the quiet corner of southeastern Iowa, was shrouded in a dark cloud after the tragic event. Noe McGraber, the Spanish teacher, had no idea that giving Miller a bad grade would mark her for death. Miller, angry about his grade, teamed up with his friend Goodale. Together, they hatched a disturbing plan to kill her. During Graber's routine walk in Shadowwecca City Park, the boys hid behind a mask of innocence, waiting to ambush her. What happened next is beyond any horror story. They dragged her into the woods and brutally beat her to death with a baseball bat. Their dark secret didn't stay hidden for long.
She comes, and she walked by, hit her in the back of the head, and then I said, "Holy shit, make sure she's dead," so we hit her a couple more times.
After their arrest, court documents showed that a witness, familiar with Goodale, gave police Snapchat messages from the boys. These chilling messages revealed their involvement in the crime. The judge sentenced both Miller and Goodale to life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 25 years. Miller, perhaps finally understanding the gravity of his actions, offered an apology before the sentence was announced. Number 4. Alyssa Bustamante. Alyssa Bustamante was only 15 when she committed a horrifying crime in Missouri back in 2009. She took the life of sweet Elizabeth Olton, a vibrant 9-year-old girl who was just looking to have some fun at Alyssa's house that fateful night. Elizabeth never returned home. Can you imagine the panic her parents must have felt? They quickly realized something was wrong and reported their baby girl missing to the police. For the next 2 days, the scene around Elizabeth's house was chaotic. Police were stopping every passing car, desperate for any clue, any help to find the missing 9-year-old child. The search led them to a shallow grave, exactly where Elizabeth's phone signal had last been detected. Inside that grave, they found Elizabeth's lifeless body. This gruesome discovery pointed directly to Alyssa, making her the main suspect. What followed was a confession that shook everyone to their core.
Without parole, if there was another option, then there would have been no reason to have.
In the end, Alyssa was given a life sentence. On top of that, she received an additional 30 years behind bars. As the sentence was read, she remained stone-faced, showing no emotion, much like a psychopath. Number 5. Seandale Jackson. At just 18 years old, Seandale Jackson, along with his accomplice Derek Thomas, was on the hunt for unsuspecting victims. Their target was Nathan Potter, a student heading home after a night out at a bar. What started as a robbery quickly turned into a chilling nightmare. When Jackson and Thomas discovered Potter had no cash on him, Jackson made a horrifying decision. In a cold-blooded act, he shot Potter fatally. The scene was a grim reminder of how quickly things can spiral out of control. After the murder, Jackson fled, running towards Mississippi. But justice was not far behind. Jackson's uncle, unable to keep the secret, tipped off the authorities, leading to Jackson's capture. Years later, Jackson expresses deep remorse, begging for mercy. Through his lawyer, he pleaded, "I apologize for what I've done. Please, don't take my life." His attorney argued for leniency, asking the judge to consider Jackson's youth and impulsive actions. But the courtroom drama took a dark turn. Judge Rebecca Dallett handed down a strict sentence, life in prison without the possibility of parole. The courtroom erupted in chaos, with Jackson's family unleashing their anguish and anger towards Potter's family. Despite the courtroom's turmoil, Jackson was condemned to spend the rest of his life behind bars. So, what do you think could be a fair solution for teenagers receiving life sentences? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this video compelling, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more gripping stories.